Sounds good. All right. Former Dallas Cowboys and Chicago Bears running back Marion Barber III has died at the age of 38. During Barber's Pro Bowl season in 2007, in a game versus the Patriots, Barber had what might be the greatest 2-yard run in NFL history. Shannon, how amazing was this play?
This was incredible. This was an incredible run, and it kind of summed up his running career. He was nicknamed Marion the Barbarian for a reason.
Yeah.
And he was runs like this. Now, they weren't all as spectacular like this, but this man would run through a building and tear it down to get an extra 2 yards. This was the greatest 2-yard run. And Barry Sanders had some great 2-yard runs. But
Very
this right here, they were different. He's shaking people. He's actually running through people. And rest his soul, I'm sorry to hear how, he gone far too soon.
Yep.
But this was an incredible run.
Every time I watch it, I remind myself, this is Bill Belichick's defense in 2007 when they're going undefeated through the regular season.
Yes.
And this is Vince Wilfork trying to get him down. Then it's Junior Seau trying to get him down.
Rodney Harrison had him first.
Rodney Harrison had him, and Asante Samuel has a shot at him. And we're talking about some great football players who cannot get him on the ground. And I would suggest to you that the next day when they came in for film study, that play got run back on them about 39 times, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Skip. That was an incredible run. But if you watch this kid, if you watched him play, you knew there were a lot of plays like this where they have him dead to right. And then all of a sudden, he's like, how did he get out of there? How did he break 4 tackles? How did he break that many tackles when 2 guys? That should have been a no-yard game. That should have been a safety. That should have been a safety. Forget a 2-yard run. That's supposed to be 2 points for the New England Patriots.
That was beast mode before beast mode.
Absolutely.
And I know it only got 2 yards. It didn't get a touchdown like beast mode did in the game, obviously, the playoff game against New Orleans,
Saints, yeah.
right? But whew.
Same number and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
And the running styles were a lot alike.
A lot alike.
Condolences to the Barber family, of course. That's going to do it for us on Undisputed. Guys, great job. Tom Brady led all sales and merchandise sold bearing a player's name and likeness for last season. Brady earned $9.5 million, which is rare because players normally never crack $4 million in a single year. Shannon, it's a lot of money. Are you surprised by this?
No. Skip, the quarterbacks have already been out. I know you remember this. A lot of people don't remember because they disbanded it, but they had the quarterback club, which was separate, Skip, from the NFLPA. They did their own thing. They did their own licensing. They had their own little competition. Skip, remember they used to go have the quarterback competition. I think it was down in Orlando, who could throw the ball to farther and throw it through the tires.
Yep.
So the quarterbacks have always operated on a different a platform or a different prism than what the regular players. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of this, Skip, remember the jury. And this is what's going to happen for the next couple of years. Because the thought of Tom Brady retiring, Skip, people are going to keep buying because I want to make sure I get the last batch of the Tom Brady jerseys. And they said the NFLPA official told that he's really turned on this part of his game since he left New England. Yeah. It was almost like, Skip, if I do this in New England, I'm putting myself up front of the team. And what is Coach Belichick, we're a team here. We're a team. Tom Brady's like, man, I done left all this money on the table. So just think about how much money he could have made had he instead of just turning it on over the last 2 years, Skip, had he did it for the last 15 years.
Yep.
Because that's how long he's been. Once he got those 3 Super Bowls, he was TB12. He only adopted that name. I don't know when he got that name, maybe 2010, 2011, Skip. But he was really TB12 then. So he really could have turned it on then. But I'm not surprised Tom is monetizing. And rightfully so. Hell, he's a separate entity. So Tom Brady can negotiate. He has that ability, Skip, to be able to negotiate with the NFLPA. Because, Skip, he Tom Brady. But come on, Tom, let us get these jerseys, bro. Let us get these playing cards. Let us get these video games, bro. We need you.
Because this is their version of NIL. Right?
Yeah, hey.
This is your name and likeness.
Yes.
You're selling your name and your likeness through the NFLPA.
And who has the biggest name? Who has the biggest likeness in the NFL? Thomas Edward Patrick
Brady Jr.
Okay.
But you know and I know this would have never happened back in the Belichick days.
No.
That was 20 years in New England.
Right.
When he was aw shucks, gee whiz, boring as you know what.
He was all about the team, Skip.
He was all about the team, all about Belichick and the Patriot way. This is the most stunning personality transformation I have seen since, see if you remember this, since George Foreman.
Yeah.
You remember George Foreman as the original boxer, the Rumble in the Jungle, George Foreman, as glowering and menacing a reporter-hating presence as I have ever seen in any sport.
Yeah.
He was terrifying just to look at him. Ali's team thought he was going to literally get killed in the ring, right?
Yes.
And he rope-a-doped him, and he beat him, and I've never seen anything like that. That's the most stunning single feat I've ever seen in sports, is Ali figuring a way with his head to go rope-a-dope and say, is that all you got? Is that all you got? Really? Is that all
People did not like George Foreman.
Okay, well, then what happened?
He was a Meineke car guy and did the George Foreman grill.
It was a transformation. He was a minister.
Yes.
He was a preacher. And he came out of his shell, and all of a sudden, he was the sweetest human being who ever walked the planet.
He was Big George.
Where did that come from? I don't know. It took him losing to Ali for that to come out. Well, it took Brady leaving Belichick and going in 1 year in a pandemic and winning it all in Tampa to come completely out of his New England shell.
Because what he saw, Skip, is that there's more than one way to win a Super Bowl. Coach Belichick had convinced him and all the other guys this is the only way to win. He went to Tampa, did this, won the Super Bowl. He's like, you mean to tell me I'd have left all this money? Now, maybe it wasn't 9.5, but he probably left $100 million on the table, Skip, in New England through deals.
Okay, and one of the advertising executives quoted in this piece, Bob Dorfman, says, you know, he's so much more of a social media animal now. Brady's a social media animal? And he ends by saying, and he's just such a charismatic guy. Who knew? Whoever called him charismatic for the first 20 years?
Skip, when you're doing a brand, what does, say, Nike and all these other corporations, Coca-Cola, whatever the product, they need endorsers. He's it.
Okay.
He's his own brand endorser, Skip, so I ain't got to pay nobody for that.
But you realize he's going on 45 years of age. He is an old man by football standards, and he shattered the record for these sort of NIL deals because nobody had gone much over $4 million. All of a sudden, he's at 9.3? 9.5. Mahomes is still down in the threes as the second best.
But social media has allowed him to have his own platform.
Well, and he is flexed, man.
The best thing
Look who I am.
The best thing
Guess who I was.
Hired a social media team. Tom.
That was the smartest thing he ever did. I agree, because they're really clever.
They are really good. Tom, jumping into a pile of leaves.
It won't work. You used to just cackle.
I told you, Scott. Come on, Skip.
I told you, he was came off like the lame dad next door. Corny and lame. Not anymore.
He is definitely up to his social media game, guys. All right, coming up next, Tyreek Hill is opening up about his Kansas City departure. You're going to want to hear what he had to say when Undisputed returns. No mercy. Former first-rounder Greg Newsome is sounding off about OBJ and the Baker Mayfield dynamic last season. He called OBJ